David, coming to you first. So basically, we're being too soft on the EU still. We need to stand up and fight for ourselves more.
Well, the deal that we got back in the days of Boris Johnson when he was Prime Minister wasn't proper Brexit anyway, and I think, I'd agree with Henry Bolton on that. We should have left with no deal, and then we would have been in a position to say we're taking back full control of our fishing waters and our fishing up to our 200-mile exclusive economic zone from the point that we left. We didn't do that. There were all kinds of things there that left our country basically beholden to the dictates of the EU when we should have come out and got full independence. I mean, Northern Ireland is in a dreadful situation because they have to continue obeying some of the rules and regulations, our fishing industry, of course. And then we agreed to what's called a level playing field on environmental and climate issues, which means that we have to stay in the Paris Climate Agreement and we have to go towards net zero. And if we come out of that, then the EU have the right to take economic sanctions against us. It's a dreadful situation.
So, Aaron, Brexit hasn't worked. It can never work. So let's just rejoin the EU.
Well, Brexit can work. That's probably something I do agree with Keir Starmer on. Strange bedfellow there. What I would say is there's a few deeper questions here. So on the nature of the deal, it was a bad deal. This oven-ready Brexit deal we had in 2019. The media utterly failed to scrutinise that for a bunch of reasons. Now, as somebody who's coming at this from the left, why? They were more focused on Jeremy Corbyn. They are more focused on internal Labour wrangling and the political theatre of Boris Johnson and the Red Wall. So actually a substantive conversation about what does this deal mean for British citizens, for British taxpayers, for British businesses. The real meat of that general election actually was ignored for a bunch of pretty garnishing on top. Then second to that, John Redwood said we're going to have to become more self-sufficient with energy generation in this country. We absolutely are. But that's going to require a bigger role for the state. The market isn't going to do that. Now, I prefer more wind, more solar, more nuclear. The Tories have failed on onshore wind. They banned that after 2011. They've completely failed on nuclear. Probably something we can agree on. It's probably nuclear, David, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But even if you think, I just want gas and oil, they're not delivering that either. So it's quite clear to me that on two counts here, on self-sufficiency of energy and actually on delivering a deal that works for blue-collar Britain, the Conservatives have really failed here.
No, I'm glad you say self-sufficiency in energy. That is actually a section in our manifesto of the Heritage Party, which these main political parties are not dealing with at all, where we are becoming dependent on other countries. We were dependent on Russia for a while, and now we're dependent on Norway. We're dependent on France for electricity to come over from their nuclear power stations if we're not generating enough energy ourselves. We need more nuclear, small modular nuclear power stations. I would disagree with you on wind and solar, but I think we need to rebuild our coal and oil and gas infrastructure. What this government has been doing, they've actually been celebrating blowing up our coal power stations. Literally, the old business secretary, Alok Sharma, was seen pressing a button and detonating Ferrybridge coal power station. So that is the reason why the EU can now blackmail us and say, well, you're not generating enough energy of your own. If you don't do what we want, we're going to punish you and stop you from having access to our electricity, and therefore the lights could go out. So this government has been a complete disaster. We need to increase our energy generation and get back control of our fishing waters.
Excellently said there. Fighting talk indeed. If only we could do that actually in, I mean, if you believe Keir Starmer in the Telegraph today, he's actually got more fighting talk than Rishi Sunak, but who knows? We'll find out at the election.